Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Creating the Crafty Life's Creative Weekly Wisdom. So today I'm going to show you a technique that I use when I have intricate die cuts or I'm working with doilies and I don't want my glue to show. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need is a makeup sponge and wet glue. I'm going to use some art glitter glue, and you can use like your craft mat if you want. I'm going to use my glass craft mat, and I'm going to actually zoom out just, oops, wrong way, sorry. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Okay. I'm going to, and then I use some paper towels just for cleanup, but that's totally up to you. So let's kind of recreate this card that I have. Okay. I have my two mats. You don't necessarily need to use this technique to put the mats together. I did on this original card, I did use a little bit of ink around the edges, so I'll go ahead and ink that real quick. It won't take but a second. It's not really anything super special. So this is just a regular A2 size card, so 4 1/4, or there's my base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I have my two smaller mats, and then I have my doily, and these are really, really thin. And if you use, I always have trouble because if I use my adhesive, my tape runner, it rips them. And if I use just regular glue and I glue the back, you can see the glue marks through the front unless I use this particular technique. This is a die from Crafter's Companion, and it is just a decorative doily die. And then the hellos that we're going to stack together are from My Favorite Things, The Dynamics, and it is the Happy Hellos, okay? All right, so I've already die cut everything. And first things first is let's go ahead and take our pattern paper, and this is, oh my goodness, it is just a paper stack from Michaels. I can't remember the name of it. If you'd like to know, just leave a comment down below and I will locate that. So the first thing I do is I take my wet glue and I remove my fine point, and I'm just going to place a blob of glue on there. Now, this might be a little bit wasteful, but again, it's totally, I mean, this is what works for me. So I have my paper towel. Now I'm going to use my mat, but for the glue, and then for the my piece that I'm going to glue on, put the glue on, I'm going to actually put it on a paper towel. Now this might be a little bit harder to see, and let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. There we go, because it's the white background. So now I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to dip it in the glue, and usually what I do, that's a lot right there, so I'm going to just kind of dab it just off to the side, kind of shear it out just a little bit, and I'm just going to dot the back of it, okay, all over. And I'm going to turn my paper towel around. This helps from getting glue all over your fingers as well, okay. I'm going to set this just off to the side, and I'm going to take my doily and I'm going to place it down where I want it to go, which basically in the center. Now as I'm putting this down, you can see that there is not any like lines where you would normally see that, okay. So that's our first layer down. You can see that there's no lines, okay. Oops, I don't know what that is. I think that's either a piece of vinyl, I don't know. Piece of vinyl, something, who knows. Okay, now I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm going to fold it so the glue is on the inside, because when I set this down, my good side, I don't want to set it into glue. So that's important to remember as you're gluing. Like, don't set your piece into the glue that you, like the part of the paper towel. If you're doing it on your mat or something, you may be able to see it a little bit better. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and do this. This is a little bit easier to see. You can see the white. And be careful if you lift this up that it doesn't seep through. Sometimes if you get too much glue on it, it can seep through. So just watch that. See, I was not super careful. Thankfully this glue will dry matte. But now we're going to put this in the center. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this side to side so my word covers it up just a little bit. And I'm going to center this right here. Press it down. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So see, one foul swoop and it is completely adhered down. And my fingers apparently got a little bit of the color from the cardstock on there. Now, okay, once again, I'm going to fold it. I'm going to put my hellos apart. They got tangled together. I'm going to pull my, I'm going to kind of shear it out just a little bit, put some glue on the back. Now you do have to work kind of quick when you're doing this because it is a very thin layer of glue, okay? All right, so we're just going to and I'm just stacking this so they are, it stands out just a little bit more, okay? Okay, there we go. I think I got it glued down. I'm just going to press, press, press. Yep, I got it. Looks like I got it all glued down before the glue dried. Okay, all right. Now, remember, flip the side of your paper towel if you're doing it this way or pick a clean area. Let's just do it on the mat right here. Okay. And again, I'm just shearing it out, just dipping into it and then shearing it out because again, it will seep through. So in this technique, less is more. So we're just going to see how I got it on the mat. Well, I'm going to move it because as I press it, I don't want to get that on the front of my die cut. There we go. All right, okay. Now, just be careful. Don't set your card into that. And I'm going to center my hello right there. A little off center. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, now to finish this card off, my original card, I did put a little bit of glossy accents on the hello, so I'll go ahead and do it to this one. I'll probably add a couple of other embellishments, maybe some ribbon and some other things. Glue it to my mat and then to the card base. Now to clean this up, you can do a couple of different things, but I just usually grab my paper towel, wipe up the wet, and then you can clean this with like just a baby wipe or whatever you're going to clean it with. With your sponge, you can reuse these a few times. What I would recommend doing is letting the glue dry and then just cutting off the hard part. And then you have, again, just a clean surface right there. So that's what I did. So to create this card using a sponge and wet glue, that's how I did it without getting any glue seepage. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Creating the Crafty Life's Creative Weekly Wisdom, and I'll see you next time. Bye.